Hey, I'm Elihu. I drive a 2022 Audi e-tron. I was put in an unusual situation where I needed to get a car. And during the pandemic, early 2022, nobody had cars. And I wanted to get a nicer one since I've been working way too long. So I was looking at the Audis and they were able to get an e-tron in a few months. So part of the motivation was long-term, I think e-tron, electronic is much more sustainable than gas-powered. And I don't want to be stuck with a gas car when either gas gets eliminated or electronic becomes much more convenient. Wonderfully. Every 10 days or so, I plug into my garage. The one thing I didn't expect about owning an EV is how happy I am never going to a gas station. Once a year, I drive it to Gurley Leap. Whenever they tell me to, I just pay whatever they say and never have any problems. I used to have a VW Atlas. Before that, I had a Passat that got sent back for the emissions violations. The range on this is up to 250 miles, 255. I've gone to Pennsylvania with it and not had any real issues. You just have to plan your routes a little carefully. It has a navigator where you can say where you're going, and it can show you the recommended stops with the charging stations. But as you see, some of the stations don't work quite right, but most of them have multiple chargers. So I've never been in a position where I was stuck and I couldn't charge. I have one vehicle, so I have kind of an extended household. I have an ex-wife, and she drives my old VW Atlas. So I have a VW Routan that I'm saving for when my kids are 16, so they'll have a wrecker that they can smash up and before getting a real car. And then my Audi e-tron. I've gone to Pennsylvania a couple times. So it's about maybe almost 600 miles each way. It looked cool. Most of the people don't think too much about the electronic part. It's a fun car. I mean, you can accelerate so quickly, and it just makes it's so easy to drive cross country also. That's because of the high-tech features. Like I said, it's not quite a Tesla, but it almost drives itself. Stays in the lane, stays the correct distance if you put it on cruise control. So yeah, I remember the old cruise controls you'd have to brake and accelerate, and highway was a pain. And it's just so easy to set it and listen to music and not do anything the whole trip. If you don't travel more than 100 miles away very often, they're fantastic. Because basically you can charge at home all the time. There are still pretty good tax incentives. The way the electricity is run, if you have your own charger, they put a separate meter in and you get a third discount if you're charging from 11 to 6 a.m. So it can actually be more affordable to operate than most of the gas cars, especially if you don't have to travel. Now, if you're traveling cross country, the one thing you do want to do is make sure you have the apps for any of the chargers, because you can put your credit card info in there. And if maybe a third of the credit card readers don't work, but you can still swipe your app and pay that way. My two favorite things, the acceleration coming off a stoplight and the charging at home instead of having to go to a gas station, which is it's faster, cleaner, easier, less frightening at times. Think about the planet. This is just one piece of the puzzle to lowering global warming.